tribute now will add to the new Mightier 1090. This is a guy who, if you're a sports radio listener, you have heard him for years and years, usually in the overnights, but now he's coming back to 2 different day parts on the new Mightier 1090. Scott Ferrall will come back to the radio airwaves of Southern California. Scott, welcome and congratulations and thank you.
My man, so I'm stoked. I got to tell you how excited I am. I think I texted you or something at one point, and I feel like I'm one step closer to being home for me. Southern California means so much to me. My life, my history, living there as long as I did in Huntington Beach, and how much I love, San Diego. I go to San Diego every single year of my life. I love surfing there. I love the people there. I love the culture, the food, the weather, the golf, the women. Everything about it is so Gandhi. It's just my favorite place on earth. And just to be a part of what you're doing, I'm just really excited. I think, as you know, I'm a huge fan of yours. I think you're phenomenal. I think your career speaks for itself. You're a titan in the market. You own San Diego. I know for a fact. I told the people here in New York, I said, this guy is going to kick ass and take names like no other. And I believe that. And that's what I'm all about. And to be really getting together with you to be a part of this project is really one of the most exciting things I've done in a long time. I really do think that 1090 is one of the greatest radio stations in history. Certainly one of the greatest signals ever in American radio history. It's a shame what happened to it. And I feel like it's Jesus after leaving the tomb 4 days later. He was rocking. And all I know is 1090's back. And I just think it's just fabulous. I think it's just absolutely sickening. I can't wait to be a part of it.
Well, let me be completely transparent for everybody who's watching and listening. Oftentimes when deals like these things happen, it's because some guy, we call him Suits, does a deal with somebody else who's a suit.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is that your relationship and my relationship, and thank you for all the nice things you said about me, this is how this all got done. You left CBS Sports Radio.
Right.
You went to Sports Grid. CBS Sports Radio trying to get the 3 of us to come replace you and your squad. Then COVID hit and they were like, okay, we're firing people. We're making people work more. We're paying them a lot less. You had jumped ship, thankfully, at the right time. You came on our podcast to talk about that situation.
Right.
And then the next thing you know, we're saying, well, dude, we got to get you on 1090. And then Bill Hagan here got together with all of your people there. And your company, Sports Grid, is not just providing content. I mean, you guys are truly now the home base of this radio station because we're doing something that's really, I'm not saying we're trendsetters because we tried to be. This has just happened. We're doing something that's never been done before. And that is, Scott, that's because you and me had this relationship and we were able to get our respective people to get down and dirty.
It was great that we got everybody in bed. I think there's no doubt that you and I were pulling it off is really the only way of describing it. I know that. Look, I'm going to be straight up with you. We started the Sports Grid Radio Network overnights, and we started doing it and whatever. And there were kinks, right? Like we went on the air, and we were on different networks. We were on SB Nation. We were on Sports Byline. We were on Sirius. And we were doing it the same way, I think, in essence, that the technology will run for 1090. They have the ability, they're very smart people, to pull it off. And when it started, we had a couple, kinks, at night. I remember the first week or so, we had a couple issues. One thing led to another. Make a long story short, we worked it out, right? And now we're running seamlessly and kicking ass and taking names. Like the shows all work. We're all in different locations. I'm here. This other guy's in Vancouver, another guy's in Jersey, another guy's in Long Island, another guy's in Miami. We're all in different locales, and we're on the cloud, and we're doing all this crazy technology to make radio happen all over America. And I'm sitting literally right now. It looks like I'm in the studio with that big ovula behind me, but I'm in my daughter's bedroom. And all I know is I've taken over her bedroom and she doesn't even talk to me anymore. I do TV and radio from here. You got your badass set right there. So what I think is going to happen is this. Hopefully, I believe the technology works. They've made it all come together and happen. And I know that eventually when we get up in the air, whenever it is, whatever, date that is in August, I know you know more than I do. I know it's early August. But once it gets up and running, kink here, kink there, issue here, issue there. But everybody chills and keeps their cool and maintains their vig. Nobody's like freaking out. We're trying to be winners here. We're not trying to screw it up. We're trying to pull it off. And Sports Grid's been able to do that for me. And now we're in hundreds of stations. And we're on different networks with different partners. We're in bed with all these different organizations and people, and no one better than you because you're just incredible. And I actually, I'm not even BSing you, bro. 1090 to me is everything. The whole deal for me is, I'll be honest, I didn't really want to do late night again. But the fact that I could be on in San Diego, all the way up the coast into LA, I mean, let's face facts. That's the baddest ass signal in the history of radio because it's clear, real clear, Cali clear, Tijuana clear, not New York fan clear, where you 5 minutes outside of New York, you can't hear it because of the weather, or even San Francisco. KMBR was a great signal, and then too bad it's foggy and rainy every night and you can't hear it in certain places. In San Diego, you can hear 1090 in heaven and in hell. And believe me, the devil loves listening to 1090, and he's got a gambling and drinking problem, and he loves getting a lot of leg like I do.
Hey, Scott, so when you've been in the business for a long time, both the Scotts, when you've seen the technology kind of explode in this industry, why do you think so many radio people are so slow to get on the bandwagon with the technology that's clearly moving?
It's just a great question, bro. I think that it's crazy because I don't even know if I believed it. I remember when I was talking to Scott, I was like, I got these people telling me they can run 1090 from New York. And I was like, I don't even know how that's possible. I got to be really high or really drunk to figure that out, because how can you run a radio station from, because I'm used to doing it in a studio with, a boss yelling at me, and I've had a lot of those. And I go into a studio, and then there's the, producer side, and you're looking through the window and you're banging out shows, and you don't worry about it. There's a sales side, there's, and then you got the engineer going, I got to drive out to the stick today. We got to work on some engineering stuff. But now we're doing it all with this freak technology in the air, in the cloud. It's unimaginable. I can't even describe it because I'm not that sophisticated, and Scott knows I'm not that smart. SMRT. All I know is Sports Grid pulled it off. They got me up in the air. I'm on everywhere, and I'm all over the world on Armed Forces Radio. People can make fun of it all they want. I got soldiers, hoorah soldier, calling me up on the show at night. I think the fans in San Diego are going to love the show. I do two of them. The Coast to Coast show in the afternoon is going to be at 1 to 3. That show's really tons of stories and reaction to it, tons of guests, tons of sound from all the biggest names in sports. Everything's just rocking for 2 hours. It's crazy. And then the radio show late at night is really Ferrall on the bench, like old school, like I've always done the radio show style. It's just a different show. It's looser. It's more fun. It's crazy. But yeah, great question. The technology is something that's way above my pay grade. But I know this. I believe in Lou Mayone and Mike Cardano and the people that pulled it off, they're like wizards, because this stuff's way beyond me how they pulled it off, but it works. And I think, like I said, there were kinks, but it all worked out. I think there was some, computers and using they're using a computer to run another computer to run another computer to run another, to put it up in the cloud, and it bounces to India and does all this stuff. I'm not even kidding you. It goes all over to India. All I know is that I'm on the radio every night, everywhere. And it's really amazing. And you know what it is? It's the end of radio, Scott, as we know it. All these radio stations that think they got it all figured out. What they've figured out is how to run radio stations into the ground. And what you've figured out is how to I think, monetize and turn your radio career into something huge again without the help of some suit or program director or engineer. We got cool people doing this now, and it's really fringy and eclectic stuff. I've never seen anything like it. It's really bizarre. It's trippy.
So when Scott and I first started talking about this, he mentions a couple of names. He said, Lou Mayone, he said, I've worked with this guy. He's incredible. He just makes magic happen. And then he said, I got to put you in touch with this guy, Mike Cardone. Mike gets on the phone, and he's a very New York guy, and I love it. And he's very frank, very honest, but really supportive and ultra confident.
Right.
And Mike is like this. I said, Mike, here's the thought. Like, I'm working from home. Alex and John are working from home. Every radio station in America has their hosts working from home. The thought is, why do we need a studio? Why do we need an office space? Why do we need a sales staff with cubicles so that they can hang around and read through newspapers? Why do we need any of that stuff? Why can't we do all of this virtually, since that's how everybody's working? And Mike says, we can do all of that. And I go, well, maybe think a little bit about it. Think about the engineering of it all. Think about the computer stuff. He's like, no. Like Scott said, we've already done it. We've done it. We can do it. And so now, unlike a traditional radio station where there's a station and there's a control room and there's hardware and there's producers, it's not like that. It's like every single show gets dialed into Sports Grid in New York. Sports Grid through the cloud moves it all around, ultimately through computers and Wi-Fi and internet. It gets to the tower south of the border, and then boom, up throughout all of Southern California. It's the craziest technology, and it's not because me and Scott Ferrall got together and said, let's do something really revolutionary. It's because of Mike's confidence.
Right.
And I think you're right. By accident, we're going to change the paradigm, because if you go to any radio station that's owned by Entercom or iHeart and you go, holy shit, look at all this state-of-the-art equipment. Look at this really expensive real estate. Look at all these people. Unfortunately, all you need is the broadcast and the sales, and you don't have to be under the same roof to do that. I think this could be a game changer in the radio business, Scott. I really believe that.
Here's a story for you. It was really weird. We were in a meeting one day, and because I didn't believe. All right. So they said to me one day, because I signed on to do 2 TV shows. I've told you this story, a little bit of it, but I haven't told you this part of it. I told them, listen, this isn't what I signed up for. I was doing these 2 TV shows. I was going to do 4 to 6 and 7 to 9, in-game live betting show. And I was doing it, and then COVID hit. And then they came to me and said, listen, we're going to start a radio network. And I was like, what? And then they're like, yeah, we're gonna do a overnight radio network, and we're gonna put you on there. And I was like, yeah, like, how are you gonna do that? And then one thing led to another. We're in a meeting one day, and then I opened up my big fat mouth, which is, I have, and I said, what are you gonna drop it out of the sky like a bird shit, and it's just gonna happen, and you're not even gonna like, what are you doing? Like, how in God's name is this gonna work? There's no way that you can tell me that tomorrow that this is happening, and that you're just going to start a radio network on a cloud that I've never seen or heard of before in my life. And the guy's like, end of meeting. He hung up on me. And this was with 50 people in the room. And he goes, end of meeting. Because I had said, what do you think? It's going to drop out of the fucking sky? And then the guy hung up on me, called me up. He said, don't ever talk to me that way again, but you'll be on the air tomorrow night. Boom. Next thing I know, I'm on the air nationally the next night, and I was doing a radio show. So at that point, I was like, never mind. So I was just saying, you're a great guy, and I owe you a steak. Because, like, he put me in my place because I didn't believe that they could actually do it, much like maybe you at the very beginning when I was like, listen, bro, I'm not even kidding you. I think they can run this radio station. Now, listen, I've always said to you from the jump, like, there's issues, there's kinks, there's problems, there's this, there's that, it crashed one night, whatever. You have to deal with everything, but I think that's no different than any radio station. I've been on the air in Miami, got struck by lightning, the tower, and in a hurricane, and went off the air. All kinds of crazy things happen, but as far as I didn't think they could actually do this, and I questioned them, and I didn't think it would work without this, that, promotion, marketing, all this other stuff that we're traditionally used to doing, you and I. But to see something this different and unique happen, overnight, this guy Cardano started a national radio network. I raised my drink up to him. He pulled it off. I think it's going to work. I'm living proof that it's working now. I do a show every night, everywhere, and it's pretty cool. And it's no different than what you guys are doing right now, and it's everywhere. And I think 1090 is going to, well, it already was, phenomenal, but I think it's just going to kick ass and take names and shred. And everyone in Southern California, if you're on the air and now 1090 is coming back, do something else for a living, because we're about to kick your ass and take your girlfriend too.
Mike Cardano is an amazing guy. And he is really, really a lot of the energy behind making this happen. Hey, Scotty, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. So we'll hear you during the day, right, talking stories, doing interviews, et cetera. And then later after we get off the air, so you'll come on before us and then you'll come on after us, where you're talking about when we get back to real life, normal life, games, gambling, things that are going on in real time. Really, really excited that Scott Ferrall is returning to the airwaves of Southern California. Scotty, we will see you in early August.
Yeah, I don't wear the blazer on the radio show. They make me wear a sport coat on TV every day. And then when I do the show at night, I usually do it naked. But you know what's cool about the radio show? It's just like yours. You can watch me do it. We have a YouTube page and everything, Sports Grid Radio. You can check it out. It's right now, like tonight, it's on at 7 to 9 in San Diego. Just go to YouTube and search Sports Grid Radio, and you'll see it. And it works just like I'm sitting here right now. It's the exact same shot you see when I'm doing the show as you're doing your show. I can't wait to be on in San Diego and in Southern California. It's all because of you, Scott. You're badass. I love you, boys. It's good to be working with you. Thanks for having me on.
Wait a second. Last thing. I always say last thing. You ready, dude? You have been such a great supporter of Sided. You were using it when it was just a website.
Right.
We were using we were trying to come up with the app and test it, and you were helping us so much. Dude, you got to download the Sided app.
I got it.
Already got it.
I got it. I got it going. I got it going right now. If college decides not to play football, will you still let your son play high school football? I got it. The thing is, as you know, I've done it a few times. I just think I kind of suck at it. I mean, I think that's the bottom line. I'm great playing basketball. I suck at Sided, but I think Sided is badass. And one day, if I ever get creative, I'll throw some good Sided questions up there. I believe in Sided. I think it's a great thing. The app's kick ass. It's badass. I really love it. I just suck at it. I can't think of like a good question. I blow. So
I know,
whatever.
Browner, we're going to have to get Scott Ferrall caught up to speed, because he's putting out things like, who's your favorite punk band from the 80s? We got to get him talking about the stuff he wants to talk about, like who you going to bet on tonight?
That's
the
right.
Lakers or the Clippers. That's what Scott Ferrall's audience wants to hear
That's
from
right.
him.
That's right. We'll get all that going with betting, in-game, and all the action. Once the games start next week in baseball, and then NHL and NBA, I think my show will skyrocket back to what it is, because it sucks without sports. Like, I'm sitting here every day for 4 months like you are 5 months. It sucks, and I can't wait to just have action, dude.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, Scott, we're going to see you in early August when 1090 gets back on the airwaves. Thank you for everything you've done for all of us putting this together.
Pleasure.
We appreciate you, and we'll see you in August.
I love you guys. Peace out. Shake
Much
it
love,
up.
brother.
Shake it
Much
up.
love.